Red meat means the meat of beef, pork, and lamb. There are two types of red meats, processed and unprocessed. Processed red meat is preserved with sodium or other additives, a few examples are sausage and hot dogs. Why is red meat considered unhealthy? Red meat has more saturated fat than skinless chicken, fish, and plant proteins. Saturated fat is considered bad for the heart. Saturated fat has recently been shown to have minimal effect on heart diseases. So, the effects of meat consumption on heart disease risk appear beyond the concept of saturated fat. Processed red meat raises the incidence of heart attacks, brain stroke, and diabetes. Raw red meat or unprocessed red meat generally has less of an impact on heart diseases. Because the average total fat content of unprocessed and processed meats is equal, preservatives are the real culprits. For instance, processed meats have a 400% higher salt level than fresh meat. The evidence says total saturated fat impacts heart disease and diabetes relatively little. The degree of processing may be more important. So, unprocessed red meats are a better choice than processed meats. However, take unprocessed meats only in moderation. Have red meat in no more than 3 portions per week. This is equivalent to about 350 to 500 grams of cooked weight per week. For people who eat red meat, choose those that are lean and unprocessed. Reduce intake of processed meats such as deli slices, bacon, ham, salami, sausages, hot dogs, and jerky. Choose cuts of red meat that have the slightest amount of visible fat. Flavor red meat only with salt-free spices, herbs, garlic, and onion. Avoid excess oil use with red meat. When cooking red meat, cut off visible fat. It is advisable to pour off the melted fat after cooking. Baking, broiling, stewing, and roasting are healthier methods of cooking red meat. Deep frying is the worst method. You often choose healthy proteins from plant sources and fish over red meat.